Welcome to Gelappu Mindfulness City, also known as the Anti-Dubai. Because instead of massive glass skyscrapers, supercars, and neon lights everywhere, Bhutan wants to create a city that blends in with nature. It will run along the rivers, leave room for wildlife, and feel calm and walkable. This isn't some cute little eco-pilot though. It's a billion-dollar mega project with some serious next-gen tech in the mix. The plan was announced at the end of 2023 as Bhutan's biggest, boldest plan to create jobs, spark new ideas, and build a modern future. It will be constructed near the town of Gelappu, and it will cover about 965 square miles, which is roughly 3 times the size of Singapore. What's especially interesting is the way they imagine the city itself. It's designed to stay low, open, and spread out. One of the coolest ideas is a set of 9 bridges that people won't just pass through, they'll actually live and work there. Yep, each bridge is planned like a full piece of the city. Just to give you a few examples, one bridge will include the new international airport, another will host a university, and another will serve as a hydroelectric dam. From there, the city spreads out into 11 long, ribbon-like neighborhoods that follow the natural shape of the land. They're designed to curve around all 35 rivers and streams in the area, instead of cutting them off. Now, when we hear about rivers running through a city, we usually think about flooding, right? And yes, that's a real concern there. But what's smart is that the plan works with rivers, not against them. Along the water, they want to build paddy fields in step-like terraces that go down the hills into the valley. These terraces slow down floodwater and help hold it back. At the same time, they work like green pathways for nature. Animals can still move through the area, and even elephant routes stay open, so wildlife isn't pushed out as the city grows. Each neighborhood will be laid out like a mandala, with the same pattern repeating around a central public space. That's where people can meet up, take walks, and spend time together. The city is meant to stay close to nature, so there won't be any buildings taller than the trees. Near the wildlife sanctuaries and farmlands, the structures will be minimal and mostly residential, so those areas stay quiet and protected. Now, all of this already sounds like a super ambitious and fascinating architecture project. But what about the mindfulness part? Here's the idea. This city is supposed to reflect Bhutan's happiness-first philosophy at its core. They say Gelappu Mindfulness City will focus not just on economic growth, but also on the personal well-being of every person who lives there. They want residents to live in harmony with nature, while still enjoying a modern high-tech city. And they're planning some pretty unique things to make that real. Residents and visitors will be able to relax and meditate in green spaces designed especially for that. There will be community activities, ecotourism, and lots of ways to slow down. The food is meant to be fully organic, electricity will come from renewable sources, and the whole city will be designed for cycling and walking, not for cars. As you've probably noticed, this isn't a small eco-experiment. And of course, just because it won't look as flashy or high-tech as Dubai, doesn't mean it's going to be cheap. Estimates say it will cost around $100 billion. Yep, billion with a B. But you might be wondering, why spend so much money on this? Is it really gonna be worth it? Well, yes, and that's because this new mindfulness city might end up saving the whole country. You see, we're talking about Bhutan, a South Asian nation that is a little bigger than Maryland. It's home to fewer than 800,000 people, and about 70% of the country is covered in forest. It's a stunning remote place, what a lot of people describe as a kind of Shangri-La tucked into the Himalayas. You might know Bhutan as the land of the thunder dragon and also as the kingdom of happiness. And there's a reason for that. This nation is known for measuring progress using something called Gross National Happiness, or GNH. Basically, money and GDP come second. They put things like spiritual well-being, cultural preservation, and environmental protection first. In Bhutan, schools and hospitals don't come with a price tag, and happiness isn't just a personal feeling. It is a national goal and a top priority. And that's not the only thing that makes this place so special. Ever since the country unified in the 17th century, they've done everything they can to protect their identity and thrive with very little outside influence. They didn't even allow tourists in until the 1970s, and TV only arrived in 1999. Actually, in that same year, Bhutan banned plastic bags, and it made headlines around the world. So even with how fast and high-tech the world is today, the country still feels peaceful and unchanged. Visitors say it feels like you've stepped into another time. And a big reason is the architecture, as most buildings are still made in their traditional style. They also follow some pretty unique rules for living in harmony with nature. For example, they're surrounded by gorgeous mountains, but you're not allowed to climb them. That's because the mountains are considered sacred, seen as the home of deities. For them, nature isn't something you conquer, it's something you respect and protect. But things changed when this fairy tale kingdom met the modern world. Even though Bhutan is often seen as one of the happiest countries on earth, people are leaving in unprecedented numbers. Many are moving abroad for better opportunities, and a lot of them don't come back. Estimates say around 9% of the population has left in just the last few years, mostly young people. And Australia is a big example of that. The number of Bhutanese moving there doubled between 2020 and 2024. A big part of this is happening because unemployment is rising. Tourism is one of the country's main sources of income, but it's been going downhill since we all know what happened in early 2020. In 2023, for example, Bhutan welcomed only about a third of the visitors it had in 2019. And when tourism drops that hard, it hits people directly. Lots of workers lose their jobs and fewer new opportunities show up. So even if people feel happy living in Bhutan, a lot of them still feel pushed to live in search of a more stable future. But the authorities believe they can bring them back by creating good, well-paid jobs at home. And that's precisely where Gelugpa Mindfulness City comes in. In the long run, they want this place to become a clean tech and innovation hub, bringing in global investment and giving Bhutan's economy a real lift. If everything goes as planned, it will be absolutely huge. So, tell me, are you convinced by the idea of a mindfulness city? If so, you're probably already thinking, okay, when can I move? Well, I have to warn you, this won't pop up overnight. A project this big needs time. Gelugpa Mindfulness City will be built in phases with private partners helping fund and create everything the city needs. Roads, bridges, an airport, homes, schools, hospitals, and all kinds of businesses. The goal is that around 150,000 people could be living there within the first 7 to 10 years. And once the whole project is finished, they expect more than 1 million residents to move in. Estimates show it will probably take around 20 years for the city to be fully completed. But honestly, that wait might be totally worth it. Bhutan hopes this place won't just attract locals back home, but also draw in international investors. And if everything works fine, this city could reshape the country's economy and open the door to a stronger, more hopeful future for Bhutan.
So a few years ago, in 2019, folks in Australia said they liked an old idea with a new twist, using extra floodwater from the north to help dry areas in the west and south. This plan got the name of the Old Bradfield Scheme. It was based on an old idea from the 1930s. The idea was to catch floodwater from the north and move it to the south and west. But the original plan never actually happened. Over the years, lots of experts said it wouldn't work. They thought it was too expensive and too tricky to build, even though it could potentially help fix drought problems in dry parts of Queensland. The original idea appeared a long time ago, when an engineer named John Bradfield got a big idea. He wanted to take floodwater from rivers in northern Queensland and send it inland to Lake Erie, one of the driest spots in Australia. He planned to use dams, pumps, really big pipes, and even tunnels to transport all that water over the Great Dividing Range, a big mountain range in Australia. The biggest dam would have been called Hell's Gate, and Bradfield wanted it twice as tall as what it was originally planned. This way, pumps and gravity could help move the water over the Great Dividing Range. The water would then flow south and help irrigate farmland near places like Hugenden. It would change the weather, make it rain more, and turn the dry land into green farms. Eventually, it would reach Lake Erie, turning the desert into a green growing area. That way, Australia could grow more food, sell it to other countries, and make more jobs. He hoped that the area could turn into a food bowl for the country. For some time, people talked about the plan a lot. They loved the idea. They thought it could change how farming worked. And some even believed that nature had already planned for the land to be filled with water. Dry rivers and lake beds were just waiting to be used. They even said that rains fell on the wrong side of the mountains, and Bradfield's plan could fix that. But when the authorities looked into this idea, they found big problems. And the main one was that the plan would cost too much. Plus, there weren't enough scientists or engineers to do a full investigation. The land was too dry and harsh. No one was sure it would even work, like how much water would really get there. Plus, some of Bradfield's measurements were wrong, especially the dam heights. So, in 1947, they officially shut the project down, claiming that even if they built the project, it wouldn't be worth it. After all, even places next to oceans, like parts of Chile, still stay bone dry, so a big lake might not result in more rain. And still, in 2019, one political party brought the idea back with an updated version called the new Bradfield Scheme. They wanted to try it again, but with some changes to make it work better. Their plan included the following steps. Take water from the South Johnstone, Tully, Herbert, and Burdekin rivers. Store that water using a big dam called Hell's Gate Dam, but this time they wanted to make the dam twice as tall as in the original plan. Let the water flow through tunnels using gravity instead of using lots of pumps. Move the water under the mountains and into the Warrego River in southern Queensland. Use the water to grow crops in dry places south and west of Hugenden, a huge area even bigger than Tasmania, eventually turning it into a food bowl. At the same time, they didn't say how much the whole project would cost, but they promised to spend $20 million to let Australia's National Science Agency check if the plan could work. Those innovative ideas sounded good, but for over 80 years, loads of experts kept saying, "Nope, it won't work." Why? Bradfield said his idea would cost £40 million back in 1941. That's about $3.2 billion today. But the new version of the plan might cost more than $15 billion and take over 10 years to build. Also, people who care about nature are worried. They explain that taking water away from where it usually goes could hurt animals and plants. It might let invasive plants and animals spread to new places. It might mess up rivers and oceans, where fish and other animals live. It could even hurt towns and businesses near the coast that depend on those natural water flows. Still, some people really believed in the idea and thought it was worth doing, especially to help farmers and fix drought problems. However, in 2022, the government decided to stop trying to fix the drought in western Queensland with the Bradfield Scheme. Experts looked closely at the plan and said it just wouldn't work. The problem? There's not enough water all the time to make it happen. Apparently, the new cost of the plan would have been over $30 billion. That's a huge amount of money. You could buy yourself a fleet of private jets and luxurious yachts, and more. So experts said you'd need lots and lots of water to spend that kind of money, but the water just isn't there. Now, instead of one huge project, they suggested doing smaller water projects closer to where the rain and waterfalls are. These smaller projects, called mini Bradfield grids, would be in 4 places along the Queensland coast. Those little grids could share water when some places had more or less rain. Other scientists looked at the plan too, and they agreed. Even if things went super well, the Bradfield Scheme would still cause problems and cost way too much, while the mini water grids project looks more plausible. They think the dry parts west of the mountains will do better without the full-scale Bradfield Scheme. There are easier and cheaper ways to help those places grow and get water. So the big plan was dropped, and now they're looking at smarter, smaller ideas to help with water and farming. And the matter is quite urgent. Australia is a super dry place, one of the driest places people actually live in. When there's a drought, there's not much water around. That means farms don't grow as much food, and that can cause a lot of problems. In the future, droughts are likely to happen more often and be worse. That's why it's necessary to start getting ready now. Experts are working on something called the Drought Resilience Mission, trying to figure out how to deal with droughts better in the future. One of them looked at how much droughts actually cost Australia. His research shows that droughts can hurt a lot of things – farms, jobs, towns, and even the whole country. When there's no rain for a really long time, some towns can actually run out of water. That's called day zero. It's when the taps in people's houses get turned off because there's just no water left. In 2020, a town in Queensland called Stanthorpe hit day zero. About 50 other towns were really close too. When such a situation happens, the only way to get water is by bringing it in with trucks, and that's super expensive. Stanthorpe had to get around 20 trucks of water every day for a year and a half. It cost them about $800,000 every month. In the end, they spent over $14 million just to have water. Luckily, it started raining again and filled the dams back up. But the authorities are working on ways to stop this kind of thing from happening again. They want to help towns be ready so they never run out of water like that. Because drought just doesn't mess with water, it can also mess with people's health. When everything dries up, plants vanish and the soil gets loose. Then the wind picks it up and makes huge dust storms. Those dust clouds can blow really far, even into such big cities as Sydney. That's what happened in 2018. The air got so bad that kids, older people, and anyone with breathing problems had to be extremely careful. The dust ruined some crops and made different foods, even fruit, unsafe to eat. That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.